All right, so welcome National Speakers Association for our little interview. We are here today with Andy Masters, who is actually our local chapter's past president. What was that, last year, I think? Or the term, it was 2018, 2019. So
yeah.
last year's term, he was
I ended
our
about 9 months
president.
ago.
So we're excited to have him. He is actually a CSP. He has that award designation, so congrats. In addition to awards and designations, he is an award-winning author and an international speaker. He's got 5 books, 4 degrees. He's presented over 1,000 entertaining and impactful programs to 100,000 plus participants. He's based in Orlando, and right now he's in Orlando with the kids and the wife, getting some family time in, huh?
Still working too, trust me, but family plus work, the work-life balance thing.
Well, thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, my pleasure. And so I really appreciate people that are on now and certainly watching the recording. I really just wanted to obviously try to help people, give you my take. Certainly since I have maybe the background in sales and marketing, and I've been doing this for quite a while as well. So I really do want to maybe, help people. By the way, questions, I know we're going to open it up for questions here at some point. Questions can, by the way, be anything having to do with now, the crisis and so forth. But importantly, I did want to say that obviously I presented for the Academy back in November, I think was the month. And I kind of gave them an avalanche of material, and then my time was up. So we didn't have that much time for questions. So if you even look through your notes, maybe you had questions on the side your notepad or whatever, or anything from that session that you would love to ask me anything about or sales and marketing, I would love to answer.
Very cool. Awesome. So the first question that we have that we wanted to ask is, what is your take on the coronavirus? How will it be affecting the speaking industry? And what's your advice on what should we be doing now, especially since most of us, I don't think any of us can get out there and physically speak.
Well, that's a big, long question. We might have to chop that up into a couple questions. Yeah, so I've been monitoring this extremely closely, as everybody have, but even a little more than most. I'm actually MPI as well, what do you call it, an affiliate member and so forth. So I actually read every single day their forum, their discussion, how meeting planners are approaching cancellations, rescheduling, even planning for future meetings, for the fall or December, or whatever. And it's just, there's no question. It is everyone on all sides of this are in question about how to truly approach this. Okay, so there's the question of when it's going to quote unquote come back to normal. And as you guys you can even just watch the news, and there's major variations. I think the president recently said, by Easter being back up, and then people in doom and gloom side are, 3 years until this thing is back to normal. Now, this economy in general, but specifically for ours, I think that this is a lot of people. Here's my one thing I wanted to say. A lot of people are doom and gloom about the industry, and I think that especially if you heard Simon talk, there is a great power in in-person conferences, in meetings, and so forth. And I really believe that is going to come back. I think it'll come back moderately quickly. What's interesting, though, is what is it going to look like? For instance, let's say meetings come back and hey, July 17th, that meeting is still on, or pick the month that you want to predict, okay? Great, we're on. And it's supposed to be, just for some math, 100 people coming in for a meeting and training. Now, out of those 100 people, how many 100, even though it's supposedly back on, still want to get on a plane, still want to sit next to somebody and jam up, together in a tight space? How many of them want to get, high-fived or shake hands when you walk in the room? Hey, shake hands with the speaker. Hey, thanks for coming today. A lot of people might be totally fine with it. Hey, glad that all the nonsense was over with. It's back to normal. And other people might be changed forever. This might be changed forever. So there's so many ramifications, from an economic standpoint, sales and marketing, but also just how we interact with people in a room when that happens again. And so I've just been kind of thinking those scenarios. So really, amazing, interesting times, and we probably will be a little different forever. But I also don't think, I don't believe that, hey, everything is going to be virtual from here on out. Thank you very much. This industry has ended. I don't think that's the case either. I think people are actually got so much cabin fever, they can't wait to get back outside and interact with other humans. I think it is part of human nature. So that's just kind of an initial rambling about some thoughts that I had in my head. What was the second portion of that question, or was there a second portion there somewhere?
Yeah, the next kind of, what's your advice on what we should be doing right now?
Yeah.
Those of us that were already professional members that are out there speaking all of the time now have a lot of time on our hands. Those of us that are not yet professional speakers, we're still trying to ramp up and get going. So the answer might be different depending on the level, but we've got some extra time now. Perhaps what should we be doing? And again, those of you listening, throw your questions in the chat box.
You should be very busy. There's so many things that this is a great time for you to do everything from tighten up your website, your marketing materials. Those are big. By the way, database, where some of you don't have a database, some of you have spoken 4 times and you've gotten, some business cards, or maybe you have an Excel spreadsheet of 120 people that were in your audience. These are times to tighten up your database, whether you have 100 people in there or 20,000 people in there. I'm doing some of that right now, just, cleaning up. And what that means, by the way, is let's say, you had a previous communication, or maybe even a previous client or whatever, that is the HR director for the University of Tampa. And a couple months ago, you sent her a note and you got back that she's no longer there. You're like, okay. Well, this is when you go back, or have a VA go back if you can. You go back and say, well, let's go on the University of Tampa's website and see who the new HR director is, so I can reach out to her and say, I saw that Carol was gone, and here's just what I do. By the way, these are times to be tightening those things, up from a database standpoint. So database, marketing material, content development. And I'm going to tell you, this is something that I have, and people that know me well, not my strong suit. One reason is, not that I don't like to do it, is because I'm so extremely busy with either speaking, booking, travel, marketing, contracts, all those other things, that I don't have time for content creation. This is a fantastic time for you to zero in on, what do I want to speak about? What are my topics? And oh, by the way, how are my topics more relevant now than they were 3 weeks ago? Okay, what spin can I have? What is the new pain that people have? And one other thing is a piece of advice is, when we had the recession, okay, I was in the speaking industry. As soon as we came out of the recession, just creeping out of it, meeting planners and HR directors and so forth put much more emphasis on programs that had ROI. Okay, so less for the touchy-feely, fluffy, stuff. And look, our business needs to sell things, or we have less staff now. So how can they do more with less and become more efficient and more productive? And so how can you specifically help industries, associations, and individuals with the crisis that they're all coming out of, versus just general touchy-feely stuff? I think you really got to zero in on your message, and also zero in on the marketing materials for this message, whether that's paragraph descriptions or bullet points. If you're specifically, if your people do these things that I'm going to share with them, here's the good things that can happen. These are all things to be doing right now. I can't remember if it was Simon that did say this, that Jeffrey Hazlitt said, and it's funny, I use the same term. There's going to be a restart, okay? And so now, are you going to be, ready when things open up again, with your marketing materials, with your content development, with your database of people that you can reach out to? These are the things you can be doing all right now.
Cool, excellent. What's the project that you have next on your list that you're going to be working on during this time? Have you decided yet?
I truly am working on my database. I will tell you that. There's people in there that, they haven't responded in 7 years. I probably need to touch that up a little bit. So database is important to me, and I do work on that. I'm working on that now. The other thing is, this is nothing new. I knew this is a huge push. You got to be living in a cave as a speaker not to see things on Facebook and the internet about tackling the virtual services that you can also offer. So I have definitely looked closer at some Zoom things. I'm gonna actually, here's what I'm gonna do. It seems very simple, and that's fine. I'm going through every page of my website, and hopefully within a few days, if you check here back, my website will say each of Andy's topics can be presented in person or virtually, via Zoom, via conference, whatever it is. And so they can call me. They can, we can talk about that. Obviously, if they're bringing me for a conference keynote, it probably won't be unless it's an emergency backup plan. But for one, I want everybody to know that, yes, I do offer that as an option. It's very simple. It's fantastic. And here you go. So, and then be ready to go with that. And then also how that would look. Okay. Because not just like, yeah, I can do it virtual, but I have to now change my programs some to fit this. Okay. Some of you might know one of my top programs is called Leadership Lessons from Hollywood, using license protected movie scenes. I get in the audience, I have volunteers up on stage and so forth. It's gonna be different. And so how can your message fit specifically to a Zoom chat with 20 people or 200 people or one-to-one coaching or whatever? And then also, how do you, price that accordingly? But you need to make sure that people understand that is an option on your website. I think at the bare minimum, even people who aren't on board with the virtual stuff, I think you have to at least do that. Okay. You have to let people know that, yes, this is absolutely an option, and here's what it is. So exploring the virtual services that I can also offer is obviously on the list, and fixing my database, I think, is 1 and 2. I think the last thing I'm going to say on that is this. This is a touchy subject. Is it okay to reach out to people right now? Is it okay to follow up with people? Is it okay to bug them in the middle of a national state of emergency and financial crisis? And my answer to that is wavered during almost on a daily basis. I have scaled. I will not still currently reach out to people that I don't know. What that means is that I've already had some either basic rapport, or I know them, or even if they responded to an email I sent in January, said that, later in the year, whatever, I have, sensitively and strategically followed up. Hey, I hope you and your family are staying safe. I know you did want me to follow up in March about something later in the year, so I just didn't want to touch base. I'm working from home with my kids. I don't know about you, if they're banging at the door, but I hope you're staying safe and healthy. And just let me know if you'd like to chat or like any more information. Or if you want to touch base later in the summer, totally understand. But I am touching base with people, and what I've found is, again, people with a minimum rapport. A lot of Americans are just sitting at home on their couch with their laptops, with their kids at home. So be careful about that. Some people they have work to do. Some people, it is the furthest thing from their mind, and I totally understand. But we don't have a crystal ball, so I think if you're sensitive, about it, drop them a very light line. I personally think that's okay. I think if you shut down completely. Excuse me. I don't know, just strategically and sensitively. That's my words.
Gotcha. Yeah, to me, if you've got relationship, it's a very different conversation. Cold calling right now and direct prospecting probably isn't going to be the thing that works. But, if it's people you already know, just staying in touch, I think it's definitely a powerful idea. What do you like to do with your kids while you're at home? What's like some of the favorite activities for family time?
Well, we got to have activities where we stay away from people, so we've definitely been adhering to the social distancing, which is a big bummer for kids. I mean, they, can't play with other kids, and, can't go to school. Soccer practice is canceled, basketball practice is canceled. And so we're, but we're going on bike rides. We go on a daily bike ride, and we have a portable basketball hoop, shooting baskets with my kids and so forth. And my wonderful wife, Lori, is homeschooling them essentially now. You don't have to, but like, giving them exercises and, okay, we're going to do some math from 10 to 10:20. We're going to do some history and, which is awesome. But yeah, I think everybody's just getting creative right now. But certainly back to the client, we got to be cognizant of, they could be home dealing with 5 kids, and we're sending them emails, or it's kind of hard to call them because unless you have their cell phone numbers, that's a little tricky too.
So y'all, this is going to be our time to ask Andy anything. So if you want to put some questions in, because right now I just have one question for you, Andy, but hopefully we'll get some more of them from our people here online. So Carolyn is asking, or she says, many want to know how to start getting paid as a keynoter.
Oh, wow. That is more of a generic non-corona, answer. Yeah, well, that is, wow, that's a huge question, isn't it? I really hope that they paid attention and, obviously it's my November, session, but I think
and just to let you know, Andy, we will be saving this. And so somebody might be watching this that hasn't yet seen your November session.
Yeah. And I mean, I think, there's a long process, but I think certainly, I hate to use that, again, the kind of generic, hey, get out there and speak for free and so forth. I really, I really believe in the power of testimonials. Okay. It is the lifeblood of my business from the day I started back in 2005. So even if you have to speak at, the Chamber of Commerce or breakout sessions that are paid at a larger conference and the keynoter is getting paid, but you're just a breakout session, guess what? Do 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of those, gobble up testimonials. Hey, do you have any positive comments? Pass something out in the room, do it electronically, and there's methods. But I think once you have that, now all of a sudden the transition to me becomes a lot easier when you're reaching out, or you have someone on your website saying, oh, well, Jill has spoken here and, spoken there and spoken there. And nobody knows that you spoke for free there. Okay. You didn't say asterisk, but we didn't pay him. No, nobody's saying that. Okay. So the first time I got paid, they had no idea I'd never done this before. I mean, that's like, you got to totally pull the wool over their eyes. They had no clue. I'm acting like Joe Cool and they hand me a check. I go around the corner. I'm going, oh my God. So I think, get out there, get those testimonials. Because if you don't have testimonials in a weird sort of way, it's almost like there's no proof that ever happened, or that you're any good, by the way, as well. And so my one trick I did say in November, I'm pretty sure, is a Chamber of Commerce is great. And here's why. You can say there's 80 people there. You pass out a piece of paper. Again, you can do it electronic. I do it, but just for basic measures. If you have any positive comments to share, that'd be great. And it just, name, organization. They can even put first name, whatever. Now, let's say 72 people don't fill it out. 8 do. You scoop up those 8. Now you got, look at testimonials. Ding, 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 ding. And the cool thing about those testimonials is from 8 different organizations, right? A lot of times it's maybe a bank or Joe's Landscaping, because I used to do the Chamber of Commerce circuit from 15 years ago. And but it looks like you've been to all these different places and so forth, when really you just went to one. Okay. Get that rolling. Now leverage. Hey, where's some places that maybe I can get paid to do this, because here's the proof that I've presented before and proof that I did a good job. So gobble those testimonials immediately.
Yeah, one of the things that I've started doing is I will actually trade video testimonials. Like I'm like 10 seconds in front of the camera for something that has to do with the presentation. I'm like, did you love the presentation today? If so, okay. And so we actually bribe them. So I get somebody to assist me, and I've got enough built up that I don't worry about the backdrop as much. But if you're just getting started, you could even like have the camera facing one way for like 1 or 2 and then turn it slightly so it's a different background for 3 or 4.
There you go. Yeah. Yep.
And so then that way and the last time I did it, I think I got out of 25 people, I got 10 videos. 3 which I will never use, 7 were some good tidbits.
Yeah.
And so plus then I can go to the person that gave it to me and say, hey, look, you're on YouTube. Aren't you cool?
Yeah, it's great. I mean, video testimonials are awesome. It's another place where just from one event, you can get a lot of them. Okay. And I don't know if this is a trick. So you do, I mean, you can use your camera phone now or whatever.
Yeah.
But if you did want a little higher quality, like if you're videotaping your event in general, I always put like to my videographer, I'll say, hey, the program is going to be 60 minutes long. And also if we can just pull out in the hallway for a few minutes, that'd be great if you could also tape that too. Okay. And most of them all are included, in the quote if you're doing it online like I do. But so yeah, I mean, testimonials, man, I thank myself every day. The single best thing I did from when I started my career. Thank God I didn't wait like 7 years. Because it is truly to this day how I still get a lot of bookings.
Yeah, it's social proof. People are like, oh, I see the success.
Yeah.
And it's interesting, Carolyn mentioned social proof, a great idea to video them. And I don't know if she was talking about the presentations or the testimonials, but I know when I do a presentation, I've got an old iPhone, this is like the old one. Here's my new one. This is the one that works. This is the one I always pop it on a tripod when I'm doing a presentation. And I may not ever do anything with it, but then at least here's me in front of a different audience, a different view. It's good if you say something brilliant and you don't remember what you said and it's not something you usually say. But yeah, so I always want to record and then you have that.
Well, guess what? And also when you record that way, you can go back and watch yourself. Okay. And get better. That's another big one as well.
So do you recommend, it's not easy watching yourself do a presentation, but what's the value the speakers can get from it and what should they be looking at?
I hate it. I can't stand it. The biggest thing I learned from it is turn the video off, or the audio off. Now you can certainly watch it on and, watch your own, but if you just watch yourself with the audio off, you will learn a lot immediately about your communication style, your stage presence, how much, am I doing this too much? Do I look boring because I'm just standing in one spot the whole time? You can improve your presentation skills a lot by videotaping yourself and watch the entire thing with no audio. That's my presentation tip of the day.
I haven't heard that one before, so I just made me a little note about that. All right, so anybody else in the audience have a question? They're kind of quiet today. I've noticed that a lot of the audiences have been. So if you have a question, pop it in. This is our time to ask Andy. If not, we're going to tell him good day. Yeah, you got something else for us, Andy?
Yeah, I had one other thing I was going to say on the who to contact or reach out to now, and it's also industry based as well. For instance, I work with a lot of different industries. I'm not touching anyone in healthcare. I'm not doing it. Okay, I have basically no way am I going to bother anybody in healthcare. What was the other one? Travel. I mean, travel and hospitality is a big industry for me, and they are jumping off bridges right now. I can't do it. I'm not going to do it. Maybe somebody else will. Maybe you disagree with me. So be it. I'm not going to do it. Trust me, that hurts because it's a big industry for me. But I'm just going over here to where they're frankly less affected. And then interestingly, you really got to think about how the world is, because how about people that are in mortgages? They're like refis are going through the roof right now. They're too busy to deal with you as well for completely different reasons. Okay, so you always got to be aware of what's going on in the world and how that affects how you reach out to people and also what messages are important to them.
Cool, excellent. Question: licensing to use movie clips.
Yeah. Okay, so I pay every year. It is, depending on how much you use it, between $500 and $1,000 a year. It is called the MPLC, Motion Picture Licensing Corporation. So if you just stick that in Google, it'll pop right up. They're really easy to work with. And they can also tell you some basic rules as well. So you can, if you pay that fee, it's fantastic. I mean, even if you show a 2-second clip or a 25-minute clip, which, I don't do either of those, but, I usually show between very, like it might be a 7-second clip, but really like 45 seconds a minute clip. But I've been paying a license for several years for that. And it also, the few of us that do pay a license, it does make us a little upset when we know that a lot of speakers are showing it anyway and they are not having a license. So, sometimes in this day and age, well, if it's on YouTube, we can show it, we can just embed it in our PowerPoint. It's no big deal. So that's not the case. And you got to be careful again, it's like, what are the chances a Disney lawyer is going to come after you? Very, very slim, but I do keep up on this stuff. And there was a, pre-corona, a school district that got busted by Disney and of using their movie clips. And I think it was in California or something. And now, of course, the way how this goes is they get busted, but it got to be such a bad PR move for Disney because, oh, you're coming down on a parent-teacher association for showing this, blah, blah, blah. And so they wound up just saying, okay, well, that's fine. But they will, it's not so much that you get busted, but sometimes in life you just want to do things right.
Do the right thing.
Do things right. And it also, in just a tiny bit, will make your client feel good that these are license protected movie scenes. I'm not just coming in and doing something that's frankly illegal. So I have used that in some of my marketing materials before. Well, it's actually, I think it's in my paragraph description, license protected movie scenes. So if you're going to do it, please pay for it, and make sure you're using it the right. It's pretty lenient. It's a great umbrella license that you can use for most anything.
Cool. So your book, Kiss Your Customer, Kiss the Customer.
Kiss your customer.
All right.
Yep.
What is one thing that we could do to kiss our customer right now, but from very far away?
Ooh, yeah. You want to get very far away nowadays.
Blowing them a kiss.
Yeah. Well, look, one of the touchy-feely things that I talk about in my programs is called 15 minutes or less, $15 or less, on how you can make an amazing impact on anybody's life using just 15 minutes of your time, $15 or less of your budget, sometimes free or a handwritten note or whatever. And, this is, now it's a little tough, I guess, because they're not so millions of Americans are working from home now, but you can send them a note like, thanks so much for your industry for, whether it's healthcare, just want to say thanks so much for everyone in your industry and everyone in your hospital. God bless for the work that you do. A handwritten note or a little whatever. Be careful about hand baking, homemade cookies right now. That's probably out, but something like that. Boom, send them something. If you know what their favorite sports team is, you know what their favorite movie is, their favorite hobby is, cute little thingy thing. You can go to the dollar store. You can go to the dollar store and you can get like a cute little thing and then put it in an envelope or a little note, whatever. And send it to them. Hey, I know your industry's struggling right now. I just want to say I'm thinking about you. That's it. You're not freaking selling them or anything. You just send them something cool, cute, whatever, to put a smile on their face. And yeah, that, we have to do those things. We have to, here's one of my lines from my my program is, we have to make a transformation from doing a job to creating a bond. Okay. And that's a difference. That's the difference between selling, it's the difference between speaking. It's building relationships, and fostering those relationships over time. And so doing these cute sort of things helps, and also doing things that will help them, give them a piece of advice, sending them along an article that you saw about a resource available to their industry. Hey, I just wanted to send this along. I thought of you.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Don't say, P.S. Are you hiring speakers next week?
No, you don't need to do that.
Just send it to them.
Yeah, Carolyn said, I sent via post office, thank you, with socks to a couple of people. That's funny, with socks. Just in a couple packages before this call. I was doing an interview with somebody yesterday, totally non-related, and he was talking about gifts of appreciation. And he's like, yeah, I actually have this keychain that I had sent him 5 years ago. I totally forgot I ever sent him this keychain. And he's still using it. So sometimes, yeah, if it's he's a real big cycler, so it was like a keychain made out of cycle gears, I don't know. But he had kept it for 5 years and it stuck around. So if you know the people, it can be super powerful.
So I'll show you this. Nobody gets to see this stuff. So this is So I did Kiss Your Customer in Virginia, and I did, especially I did a couple of examples of things that I've done, whatever. So we had lunch, and I'm looking around. I was at a hotel, and I don't like iced tea. Okay. And I was like, is there a vending machine around? And I went, one vending machine. And then I go to the front desk, and I'm like, is there a vending machine? Oh, yeah, second floor. I go to the second floor. I finally went around, and I got orange Fanta. So I came all the way back, got my orange Fanta. I sit down, and everybody else is like, you went all the way to the second floor for orange Fanta? I said, I really like orange Fanta. I don't like iced tea. I drink water a lot, but sometimes I just run orange Fanta. I didn't think anything of it. Now, this is right after I got done with my keynote. 3 days later in the mail, they sent me an orange Fanta, like, collectible glass, okay? And I was like, no way, this is totally freaking awesome. And this is 6 years ago. 6 years ago. It still sits right here on my desk. And what's amazing is that I was like, oh, because I was going to add this in my PowerPoint and, like, add to the story, And I did. And so I went on Coca-Cola.com, I think, and, you can buy all the merchandise and stuff. That glass was $4.79 on discount for $1.79. Okay, not counting shipping. All right. So, like, just think about the $1.79. 6 years later, I still got this thing sitting on my desk, and I've added to my stores and so forth. So, be great listeners. And by the way, just like in dating too, right? That's the whole twist. Be a great listener and do special, amazing things that make the other person know that you appreciate them, you love them, you're special to me, and the same things that breed long-term relationships in your personal life breed long-term relationships in your business life as well.
Super cool. Well, we're almost at time anyway, and we don't have any more questions, so that's good. Teresa did say this interview, as well as the one this morning, has given her lots of ideas, and learning is great. These talks are keeping me motivated and positive for our future. So thanks for your feedback, Teresa, on that. Anything you want to add, Andy, as we begin to wrap up? We're good to go? All right.
Yeah, just, keep working on your content, work on the database, work on your marketing materials, and get ready for the restart. And strategically and sensitively, it is okay, I think, to still reach out to people because we have to feed our families, right? So let's just keep your head up, stay positive. It will not last forever. Let's just be ready to hit the ground running.
Cool. Well, thank you, Andy, so much for your time. I know you spoke live at the Academy, so I appreciate you giving us an extra chunk of your time here at home when you could be hanging out with the kids or doing some work. So thank you so very much. And thank all y'all for being here. All right. Bye. Have a good one.
Bye, everybody. Have a great one.